in really limited action in team drills, just to have a Sammy Watkins on the field does what for a team?
Oh, it's exciting, you know, to have Sammy come back out here and be able to run through drills. It's great for us. It's great to have him out here, and I'm sure he's excited to be back and you know, get caught up on just the terminology and route run and everything else.
How much are you putting in on a daily basis? Like, how much is today compared to yesterday, and how much will tomorrow be compared to today offensively?
Every day there's been subtle changes, and there's been a lot of install throughout the entire offseason. So I'm sure there'll be a point of emphasis tomorrow. I don't know what that will be at this point, but you know, today was nice because it actually was our third go-around, you know, after this entire offseason of introducing and all that stuff. So hopefully, you know, I think we had a better grasp today of what we had in the past, and it was good, and hopefully we can build on that.
Just from our observations, it seems like there's a lot more formations being piled on every day. Is that one of the biggest things you really have to get used to, is all the different formations, especially for the newer guys?
There's no doubt. I mean, and it's the terminology, it's the formation, it's how we want to run particular routes, how we want to read them, and we're still familiarizing ourselves with all those things. You know, it's very early. I mean, it's late in the off season, but at the same time, it's early in the system. So we still have to study really hard, and you know, I think this time's critical for us, especially as we grow towards season.
Matt, I know you're new to Buffalo, but when you hear the Bills are setting, you know, season ticket sales records, as exciting as that might be, and knowing how much support you have, does it reemphasize the expectations that are being placed on this franchise that's not made the playoffs for 15 years?
You know what? It's an exciting time. I think everybody's excited about it, and we should be. You know what? There should be high expectations. We have high expectations for ourselves, and so now it's our job to go out there and prove that we're worth those expectations. But again, it's a process, and we've got to go through it.
Matt, when you hear Rex, maybe you heard Rex say last week that it could go right up until the season opener before a starter's named. What do you make of that?
You know what? You just go out and do your job every day. You know, you don't worry about that. You have to continue to go out, work, and learn the system. Like I said, we're all learning and growing in the system, and so I don't worry about that. They'll name a star sooner or later, and you go with it when that happens.
Do you think it speaks to the closeness of the competition between you three?
Well, I think so. I mean, obviously, if they haven't named a star and they didn't name a star throughout the entire offseason, they think it's close, and so therefore you just got to keep working, like I said, and there's nothing else you can do as a player.
When you hear, you know, there's been a lot of talk about how the Bills have everything in place except for maybe the quarterback's position because of the uncertainty there and who's going to be the starter. How do you take that?
Oh, it's great motivation to prove them wrong.
Matt, in your experience, what's the benefit, I guess, of having that starting quarterback in place earlier rather than later?
I think it just all comes down to a result of whether you win games during the year. I mean, whether the quarterback's named now or in a week before season, you know, it's going to come down to who's going to win ball games. And if you go out there and win and take care of your job, then everything's going to take care of itself, if you know what I mean.
What's it been like working with Greg Roman and trying to figure out his offense, being in the classroom with him, learning what he wants you to do?
He's great. You know what? He's a great teacher, and that's the first thing I notice about him. And he's got a calmness about himself. He doesn't get too high, too low, and I like that consistency when it comes to a play caller.
What do you make of the offense and the versatility that he tends to bring?
Well, like I said, right now we're trying a lot of different things, and we're installing a lot of different things. I'm sure the closer we get to season, we'll see more of what we're getting ready to do. But right now, I think we're all trying to adapt and learn.
How much can a guy like Andre Reed help a guy like Sammy Watkins?
You're going to have to ask Sammy that. I'm sure, obviously, Andre Reed is a Hall of Famer, and he's a great player, and I'm sure Sammy can learn a lot.
You've been in the situation in Kansas City where you had been the unquestioned starter going in. You know, what's different about that than being in a competition, especially a three-way competition?
Right. Well, sometimes the difference I would say is reps. You know, you're splitting up reps a little bit more when you're an established guy and you're going in. You're probably going to get a little bit more of the majority of the reps this time of year. But at the same time, I've been in both positions, and it's not a determining factor of whether or not you're going to be successful during the year. That's going to come from playing as a team and doing what you need to do and being consistent on the field come game day.